Before we get started with the tutorial, I just wanted to say something. YouTube has changed, and now if you really want to see my new videos, you have to go on the channel, and next to the subscribe button you will see an alarm button, and if you click on that, you just check on get notifications for this channel, and then you will get each new video in your subscription feed. So yeah, that's it, let's get started with this tutorial. Hello, I'm Ignace Aleya from toleratedcinematics.com, and today I will be showing you how to make your text fly away in particles using the plugin Trapcode Particular. So you do need that plugin to follow this tutorial, but it's an incredible plugin. It allows you to do really cool stuff with particles. So if you are able to get it, definitely get it. So I'm going to create a new composition, make it full HD here, and I will just rename this main comp. Around 10 seconds long. Okay, here I'm going to pick my text tool and just write something, so like this video. And yeah, these days you really have to like the videos to get the video seen by other people, apparently, so definitely hit the like button if you enjoy this tutorial. It does help me out. So I'm going to make this like black. I'm going to make it really thick because I want it to be covered with a whole lot of particles. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here, like this video. I will put it in the middle of my screen here, and then I'm just going to pre-compose it, so if I want to change it later I can just do that. I will just rename this to title, for example, and hit OK. So now I have my text, and as you can see, I don't have any background, so I only have my text, and that's very important. You only want to have, well, you want to have something without a background, so then it's going to fill everything that's seen here, and the background is not going to look at it. So that's really important. I'm also going to create a new background just for yeah, the sake of it. So BG, click OK, and just drop this below, so now we don't have a transparent background. We're going to concentrate on this composition. So first you will have to create this as a 3D layer. We'll make this 3D, and then I'm going to actually uncheck it so you don't see it here. Then we're going to click and make a new solid actually, and rename this particular, particular. There we go. I'm going to hit enter, and then effect Trapcode Particular. And now what we want to do, so you're going to see that we get some particles that emit, and actually they're not starting from the beginning, but that doesn't really matter. But if we're going to the emitter here, we can actually change the point to a layer here. So if we click layer, we'll have to go into the layer emitter to actually select the layer we want to emit from, and then it's going to emit everything that's visible on that layer. So layer, we're going to select the title, and now it's going to start emitting from that title. But as you can see, it's really hard to actually see that it's emitting from a title because we, one, have not enough particles, and two, it's also pushing out a velocity, so it's going to just fire off that layer. So I'm going to zero out all the velocity here. So now we have everything zero, and we're going to see that everything gets emitted on the text, but it's just in such a low number that you can barely see it. So I'm going to increase this number, and the more you add, well, you're going to start seeing your videos. So now we get something like this. If I'm going to increase this to something like 100, 1000, now we have our complete video here. So that's pretty cool. I'm going in the particle, and of course if you lower this value, it's going to define it a little bit better. Also, currently it has a 3D thickness, as you can see right here. That's not what we want. I'm going to zero this out. So now we have our text only. Something like live, we can keep it as it is. And actually I'm going to make this 500,000. So just make sure the more you add, of course, it's going to slow down your your workflow. So definitely take care about that. So now we have our text, and actually what we want to do is we want to transition from nothing. You can see that currently the particles are getting generated on this text. What you can do to have your particles emit immediately, so they're on screen, is click on Particular, go to the emission extras, and just pre-run it for like 100 frames, and then it's going to be on the screen immediately. So the particles have been actually generating up front here, and before the timeline even starts. So I'm going to click on my title, put it above this everything, and I'm going to press T on the keyboard and just go like around 1 or 2 seconds further, click on the stopwatch, move ahead 1 second, and just lower this down. So now we have our text that just fades off. Now we want to copy these keyframes, copy, Control C, go to the beginning of this keyframe, then go to the particular layer and just paste these keyframes. So if we press U on the keyboard, it's going to reveal those keyframes. But currently it's going from 100 to 0. We want to swap this up, so I'm going to right click, keyframe, well actually, what is it again? So I think it's, I forgot. Okay, so it should be here. Okay, keyframe assistance, time reverse keyframes. There we go. So now it's going from 0 to 100, and there we go. So now we have a clean text. You can't actually see any particles, and then it's going to actually fade off to the fake text, the particle text, and now we can start animating this if we want to. So if we click on particular, we can, for example, go in the physics, in the air, and then like turbulence field is something that I use a lot, and it's like right over here. We're going to create a keyframe at the end of the opacity, so when it's completely faded in, I'm going to create a keyframe for effect position, and then like a little bit further I'm going to increase this here, and now we get something like this. So I'm going to increase it a little bit better. There we go. And yeah, there we go. So if I'm going to preview this, we now have something like that. Well, take some time to render. Of course, the particles stay emitting, so it's going to stay like this, and we want it to actually fade out, but you're going to, yeah, you get the idea. So we have our text and it actually gets up in particles. So right here at the end, when the particles are generated here, I actually want to animate the particles emitted as well. So I'm going to create a new stopwatch for that, press U on the keyboard so I can actually see my keyframe here, move 1 frame and just zero this out. So now we have our particles, but they're going to die off over time. So I think it's taking a little bit too long, so I'm going to decrease life to something like 1, and now they're going to die off like this. Then also I'm going for opacity over life, that's right here, and I'm just going to fade them out a little bit, like so. Or actually you can do it like this. This is also a pretty cool preset. It's fading off, but they're also flickering, so definitely nowadays with New Year laying around the corner, you can use this to actually generate some like fireworks kind of things, because yeah, they're flicking on and off while they actually disappear. So you can see it right there. So that's pretty cool. I do notice that right here we don't have enough particles, so I'm going to the beginning of my particles emitted, and I'm just going to add, I'm going to test my computer right now, but I'm going for 2,500,000. So I'm going to double check the zeros here. I'm just going to redo it. So 2500 and 3 zeros extra. There we go. Okay, still not enough. Okay, so apparently the max is 1 million. So what I'll do here is just increase the life to something like 1.5, for example, and that's also going to help with this issue. So now we have our text fading off, but I don't really like the particles that we're seeing right here because they're very sharp, and actually we want to add some motion blur. So if we drop down here to rendering, we can go into the motion blur, go in the comp settings, we're going to change this to on, and just we're going to increase the shutter angle until we're satisfied. So the harder you increase this, the more motion blur you're going to get here. Of course, you can also go in the aux system, and let's try that for now. We're doing anything, well, we can do it for now. So go in the aux system, just press this on continuously, and then we're going to see something like this. It's going to fill up everything. Well, actually each particle is gonna generate another set of particles, so that's how it works. I'm going to set the life to, well, first I'm going to change the color to main, color from main 100%, so we actually see white particles here, and the size I'm going to change to 1. And there we go. So now we have something like this, which also looks pretty cool. Increase the particles per second to something like 50 maybe. Okay, so we're really trying to play around here. But this is what you can play around with to get some cool results. Maybe I'm going to lower the opacity here. For now I'm going to put my motion blur to off and just preview this for once. So So now we have something like this. What you still can do, as you can see, the affecting position is animating a little bit weird. And also, I think I'm just going to go to my original particle and just lower the size here to 0. So now we're not going to see our original particle, but we're going to see the particles emitted from those particles, which means still particles. So now we just see these nice lines giving nice motion blur. And I know it's not completely, well, you already, the part that's that you wanted to see is actually already covered. I'm going a little bit more into detail, but it's really fun to actually see what's possible here. So for the position, if you want it to be affecting not so heavily, you can just play with the scale. The lower this number, the less, yeah, it's going to, like, if we are going to visualize these fields, you're going to understand a little bit better. You can see that it's taking a little bit more time to do this. So if I'm going to increase this number, you're going to see it's going to take shorter steps to actually modify it here. Also press U on the keyboard and go to the actual the effect position. I'm going to affect it a little bit less, so something like 300. And also the complexity, we can play with that if you want to. So we can go for like 1 complexity. And that's going to make it a little bit easier. And then also the animation, so evolution speed, I'm going to lower this to something like 5. And, well, maybe 10. And then again, increase the number of particles in the aux system. So yeah, it's just part of playing around with things, see what works, what doesn't. I also go back and forth between all these settings. As you can see, I did cover a little bit more than I wanted in this tutorial, but I'm sure some people will definitely get a kick out of this, that they can actually experiment with all these settings and get some really cool results. So if I just put this to off and go back to my original particles, we can also animate, for example, the velocity, so they are just spreading. So let's say we have 3% here. And right here, we're going to the velocity, move a few keyframes, and just increase this to 100. Maybe a little bit of randomness as well. 20. So now we animate the velocity, as you can see right here, 0, and it's animating, and then they're going to spread away as well. Yeah, depending on how much you enter. So let's exaggerate for now. And of course, it's not going to work because it's actually before the particles die off. So you're going to animate these a little bit further, and now it should work. So now they will fly away. And of course, the number is quite high, so I'm going to lower this down. But that way you can actually make them fly away. Just make sure that your particles die after the velocity kicks in. So the velocity kicks in at the start of a particle, so if there are no particles generated after the time of the velocity, it's not going to help out anymore. So not sure if you understand that, but yeah, that's how you actually get this kind of result. So pretty cool. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it and that you understood it. If you did, give it a like. Also subscribe to the channel for more, and definitely leave a comment with the results that you created using this tutorial. I would love to see what you can come up with. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.